Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. Let's go over gold and silver, do a daily technical analysis update. We're going to touch on the dollar, the 10-year, the gold, silver, platinum, continuous contract pricing, ETFs, and then individual companies. I did add a little bit of money into some of my favorite royalty companies. I'll let you know what those are. We're also going to touch on the housing starts, and it is going on up, which means we're building more new homes. And it's trending in the right direction. So let's jump in here. I'll give you my opinion. Again, this is just my financial opinion. It is not advice. You guys are going to have to make up your own strategies for your portfolios. So here's the dollar and gold. Gold was up 0.66%. Not too bad of a day. And the dollar was down a little bit. You can see the graphs and how they are inversely correlated outside of this move from 8 a.m. here to 8 a.m. here. The dollar did strengthen. It didn't go above its point, but gold strengthened as well. And I like seeing that. It's showing that gold is showing strength. Looking at the dollar kind of zoomed out a little bit in a candlestick chart, we've got this uptrend line. We're coming up. We basically came back to retest. We were down a little bit today. This is delayed by 1 day. We are at 93.17, so we're down a little bit here. And I want to see this fall back down. Maybe this is all it can muster to the upside, but we'll see what happens. We'll continue to monitor it. This is the 10-year. We came down and we're kind of coming in this phase here. I think we are going to potentially break to the downside here, which means lower rates. Lower rates in the short term, potentially. Something could be in the system that people don't like, and they're running into bonds. They are afraid of something. Maybe it's the contagion of the Evergrande deal, and people are running to bonds. But long term, I still am going to stick with my thesis that if we build more new homes, and structurally, this isn't news, this isn't short term, but structurally, the demographics are going to drive interest rates. They're going to want to go higher. They're going to have to be held down, manipulated, controlled for rates to not go up over, I would say, the next between now and 10 years. This is the new privately owned housing unit starts. We got new data today. It updates once a month. We're at 1,615,000. It is up from July, a little over 100,000. So we are continuing to pile in and build more new homes per month. And that's what we want to see. And I suspect this would go all the way up to even over 2 million. And that'll get us cooking with inflation. And it's going to put pressure on interest rates to go higher. That inflation will. Here's gold, looking at it from kind of a near-term perspective, candlestick chart. We were up today. We still have these big monster down days all sprinkled throughout here. I think eventually this is going to push to the upside because of inflation and real negative rates. Here's gold, looking at a little bit bigger picture view. We did break down below this support line last week. This week we're trying to break back above it. We'll see what happens, but we have support underneath here at about 1680, 1700, somewhere in that range, depending on where it touches it, if it were to go lower. Silver, we did break this downtrend line, and then we broke it to the downside again. We broke out and then broke back down. We have an update today. Still has some work to do down here. And platinum, nice bounce for platinum today. Looking good. Big $51 up day today. Again, I would have been a buyer today, buying into this strength. I think it looks good, and it could potentially be put in a bottom. Again, guys, my paradigm, I'm a long-term investor. When things get cheap and they get down like this is when I start to cost average in. So I buy stuff when people don't like it. I buy it when people say that the charts look really bad sometimes. But I think platinum is of very good value. It is the best valued metal, precious metal that there is. And today we saw lots of strength, so I would be a buyer. Looking at GDX, the ETF, looks like we're trying to firm up. We could potentially bounce sideways a little bit longer here. That's going to be my guess. Lower to sideways with that black candlestick. I got to see buyers step in and really push this higher for me to get really bullish on it. Let me see here. We have a trend line that is coming through here that we did not break. We got to break that line, that downtrend line right there. That's what we want to break. GDX, looking at this thing, I'm trying to see. Let me throw some stuff in here. Are we coming up? Well, that didn't work. What I'm trying to see is is this thing starting to contract into a point? And we very well could be. It looks pretty close. And usually what happens is you kind of contract into a point here, and then you break up, either upward or downward out of this little pattern. We'll see tomorrow which way this thing breaks. I'm hoping to the upside, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But you can see that little pattern there that developed. And usually what happens in a descending wedge, you break to the upside. But sometimes they break down. Sometimes we'll break down and we'll have to break a little lower. Man, we've got a lot of support resistance through here. We've got this guy too that broke to the downside. Is this thing going to rally back up? We'll find out tomorrow. Here's SILJ. Oh man, this thing, you can draw these lines in here. And I'm looking for, so we've got this guy that broke through there. And then I'm just going to see what this looks like here. I mean, it looks like we kind of came up, broke to the upside, pulled back due to a back test. If we can go sideways to higher here, I mean, this is a pretty cheap price down here. Doesn't look too bad. SILJ, here's the pullback, looking at it from a big picture view. We do have some support down here at $12 looking across. So it might be a good spot to see a bounce. Let's see if we get some buyers to step in here. EXK, we broke through this downtrend line, kind of pulled back here. I still think we could go down to sideways a little bit longer before seeing some moves higher. Franco-Nevada, sometimes this is a continuation pattern to the downside. As you can see, this thing kind of rolls over, comes up, rolls over. So I would say potentially could go down a little bit further. Wheat and precious metals. Again, I didn't see the buyer step in. We got this black candlestick. I think we could bounce lower to sideways. Teuton Resources is the one I added in today. I figured why not? I do like Teuton quite a bit. I do like the way this thing fires on up, slow leak off of sellers. It's like a battle all through here. I added a little bit. You know, I'm a sprinkler. I did, just a disclosure, I know this isn't a precious metals company, but I did add in Nova. You got this big bullish engulfing and then the slow leak off of sellers, and I'm adding in right here. I added in today, both of those companies, full disclosure. And this is where I buy things, is when they're down. And we get a big bullish engulfing and then a slow leak off of sellers back. Both of these kind of have this trait. And right here, we've got really good support down here. I'm just firing stuff off, guys. Here's Newmont. Let me see if I can throw in here. I don't know anything in Newmont. I just use it as a proxy. And you can see we're right at that support line right now. Let's see what happens. Barrick Gold. Let's throw in a support line here. See what this thing looks like. And we're right there at that support line as well, almost. We're getting real close. Let's see what this thing does. And that's all I have for today. I wanted to go over those. Again, I'm pretty open. I'll let you guys know what I add into. I added into Teuton Resources. I added into TEUTF. The charting is TUO.V. And then I added into Nova Royalty. It was $2.20 something. I figured why not? The chart looks good to me. I'm adding in. I like copper, nickel, precious metals. I sprinkle. I'm a sprinkle master. I'll admit it. I cost average in when things come down and they come back to support. I just add in, and sometimes it breaks to the downside, and I'll wait until more buying pressure comes in and I'll buy it back into strength. I'm not afraid to buy into some of these things. Some people they're afraid to see a little bit red in their account. I'm not, so I'm willing to, when I get paid, I'm going to keep sprinkling in what I think are the best opportunities that are down. I don't like chasing things when they're up. I like buying things when they're down, and I cost average in real slow. So I guess my name could be the Sprinkle Master. I'll own that name. That's fine. But that's what I see. Platinum looks really good. It looked like it really took a big bounce. I don't see a bottoming pattern necessarily, but the buyer stepped in and it they did some damage to the upside to some short sellers. So and the price down there is pretty cheap. You're below the high cost producers. I think it's a decent bet if you guys are looking at this from a long-term perspective and like to cost average in. Cost averaging in is the key. I know a lot of people, what they're going to do is they're going to look at this and most people don't have a long enough time frame. I'm looking at this stuff 5-10 years. So I'm accumulating for a few years at these bottoms, and then I just hold on. Other people are going to look at it and say, platinum's way down. You must be a moron to be buying it down here. It's like, well, how do you buy cheap? How do you buy cheap if you're not buying it when it's way down? Platinum is going to be, I think, one of the best investments that you could make. If you buy physical platinum, it's out of the system. They don't know you own it. They don't know how to tax it. You're completely off the grid, and it's the cheapest metal, and it's never been this cheap in relationship to all the other metals for many, many years. So what I do is I do opposite of everyone else. If everyone's calling me a moron, I'm probably onto something. You're probably buying something at the best value that's possible, because everyone is going to look at you like you're weird for buying this stuff. And that's exactly where I want to be, because no one else is buying it. And you're going to have to be buying stuff when everyone else isn't. That's how you make a lot of money. You don't make a lot of money buying it after everyone else bought it, because they already own it then. You need them to come in and have that money flow come in and bid your stuff up. That is how you make money. You have to buy it before other people. And sometimes you don't time things perfect. It doesn't work that way. I bought all in 2020. I bought in 2019 platinum in the 900s. And we're back to 900s again. And I bought a whole bunch on the March COVID crash. I bought a whole bunch, and I'm continuing to average into it. I'm trying to get as much as I possibly can, because platinum, I think, is going to be a very, very good bet over the next 10, 15 years. It's going to be a massive, massive move. How high? 4,000 to 45,000. Huge range I just gave you, but those are my predictions. 4,000 to 45,000. I know the upside might be tough to get to, but I think 4,000 is a good shot for a conservative bet. Hopefully you guys like this content. Give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed already. And thanks for listening. This is Finding Value.